So in my introduction, I mentioned the fact that the Plow Foundation survey cited that 46% of respondents to the survey said they didn't know that the Aging Commission existed. They had no idea of what services might be offered. So let's clear things up right away. What is the Aging Commission and what is its function?
Okay. The Aging Commission is one of 9 triple area agencies on aging. There are 9 throughout the state, area agencies on aging. They provide supportive and nutritional services to seniors to help them maintain and live independently in their homes.
In terms of the service related though, for the viewers, for members of the senior population, older Americans who need assistance, are you more or less a clearinghouse or a gateway? Is that a good description?
We like to call it the no wrong door. So anytime someone calls our agency or the commission, you should be able to get information about any of the types of services that the elderly would need to maintain in their home. And so we are a single point of entry.
Highlight for me just some of the services that you cover.
So what we call home and community-based services would be homemaker services, someone to come in and do some light chores within your home, and then chore services where they go out and purchase things for you, do your shopping for you. Then of course other services would be providing meals at home for you. And then we have congregate meals where people actually go to senior centers and have their meals there.
Let me talk about a couple of other services that struck me as I was looking at your website. Legal assistance, you provide the door to legal assistance, as it were.
That's correct. We have a contract with the Memphis Area Legal Services, and they hold events in the community to share information about power of attorney and things of that nature, but they also represent clients, direct representation through a contract with us.
Let me talk about the SHIP program quickly.
Okay.
First of all, what does that acronym stand for? SHIP,
for,
S-H-I-P.
Okay, it stands for State Health Insurance Program. And I think that we are one of the best kept secrets in Memphis. Many people don't know about SHIP at all. But what we provide unbiased counseling to beneficiaries and their families. You can receive Medicare Part D assistance if needed. We're visible somewhat in the communities with health fairs, and we also do presentations out in the community.
So you actually provide Part D help for people to get their drugs, right?
Yes, sir.
And also, you're there to answer any and all Medicare and Medicaid questions.
Right.
So if anyone has that kind of question, the Aging Commission is the place to call.
Right, they can feel free to give us a call.
Okay.
And in fact, they can ask, while we provide direct assistance with Part D, as Sandra was saying, we have open enrollment, which is every October 15th through December 7th. Also for Medicare Advantage plans, we can help you with that. But even outside of those 2 areas, if you have questions about how to enroll in your Medicare Part A and B, when you should enroll, if you need some assistance because you might feel that your income is low enough where you can receive assistance either from the state or federal assistance, you know, we would be the place that you could call. Not only can we provide that information, but we can also provide application assistance. And then just general questions. We have people who might have billing problems. They don't know who to contact. And although we can't personally resolve the billing issues, we have all sorts of contacts we can make to get that resolved for the client.
Let's talk about the options program. What is options and how does it function?
So option is one of our home and community-based services. Up under umbrella is how I like to try to explain it. Option is one of 2 programs that we have. Option is more of, I guess, sort of, I utilize the terminology of sort of short-term type of services. It's light work that a person will come into the home to do to help the patient, like cleaning, possible some of the services that they offer.
This is for individuals who may not be able to perform the functions of daily living.
Right. Yeah. They're sort of limited, but they still can do some things.
Now we talked about options. Then there's the Choices program, which is another home-based program. So explain Choices.
Yes. Our Choices long-term program is more of sort of like nursing home services where it's more every day somebody is there assisting that person. That person normally is not able to do really anything for themselves to truly qualify for the Choices long-term program. And that person is generally someone that could be a senior, but if there's a person that's younger that's disabled, they also can qualify for those services as well. And it's similar to the same thing with Option. There is an intake process with that has to be taken to see if they truly qualify for those services.
You have to need the same level of care that you would need in a nursing home.
Right.
Yeah.
So that's why it's called long-term services and
In
support.
order to qualify.
And I guess the point of both of these options and choices is to try to keep people out
of the
long-term
nursing
care.
home.
How important is it to try to do that?
It's very important. All the research tells us that people are happier in their homes. The elderly, the seniors want to remain in their homes, and they're healthier there rather than being in the facility. That's where they want to be. That's where they like to live out the end of their days. And we also understand that isolation is one of the things that is very difficult for the elderly. So although you don't have to be isolated in a nursing home, you will find that some people who don't want to be in the nursing home isolate themselves. And so to avoid that, you want people to be happy, and happiness is for most people is in their homes.
Let me talk about a couple of initiatives that the Plow Foundation has been involved in over the past few years. One of them is the area of elder abuse. We've done shows on elder abuse on this show. What role do you play in the Coordinated Response to Elder Abuse team, CREA?
So when someone is a victim of abuse or neglect, they often need some special services. They may need a new place to live, they may need home and community-based services, and they need someone to manage those services for them, and that's what we do.
Now, in connection with that, did you mention, was it Senior Guardian? What was
Yes, we have the public guardianship program. So it was intended for low-income individuals who lack the ability to make their own personal and financial decisions, which is also related to the Plow Foundation grant. So if you've been a victim of elder abuse or exploitation, it's likely, not always the case, but it's possible that you lack the ability to make your own decisions. And so the public guardian would be court appointed to make those decisions for the individual.
Now let's talk about the No Hungry Senior program, which is an initiative to try to feed seniors who are food insecure. What role does the Aging Commission play in the No Hunger Senior program?
We're merely a referral service. So we provide, through contracts, congregate and meals to the home. And we put people on a waiting list when we cannot serve them. And so what the No Hungry program, senior program, was doing is we were pulling people who meet their eligibility requirements from our waiting list and referring them to that program.
How big is the waiting list now?
So the waiting list has improved significantly. I've been here about 10 weeks. 3 months ago, the waiting list was at 3,000. We've been working on that list. It's down to about 1,200.
What's your relationship with the senior centers?
So we also have contracts with the senior centers, some of them. One in Fayette, Shelby, and Tipton, and then 2 in Memphis, that's where the congregate meal sites are, where people go there to eat, but also we help them with programming for seniors.
Let's talk about the big picture of things, because we all know that there's a silver tsunami that is happening. We're all aging. The boomer generation is going to swell enormously. The number of people over age 65 by 2030 will be 20% of the population. So my question is, how is not only your Aging Commission, but others throughout the country, how are we going to deal with the demands that are going to be placed on aging commissions?
So we're not currently meeting the demands of our seniors even now. And so as that population grows, unless there's additional funding, and we're trying to find ways to find that funding, we won't meet those needs. We are an integral part of trying to get federal government and other entities to see the need, recognize the need, and provide funding.
Well, I thank all of you for being on The Best Times and telling us about the Aging Commission. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
If you've got questions, the Aging Commission may have the answers.